Hello, people. Welcome back to another video from your good friend Chad Marco. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. And you guys know Halloween is coming up just a couple days from now, and I've been playing a lot of survival horror games, and in particular Resident Evil. And I've been thinking back to this thread that I saw on 4chan, the VR board, a few months back, and I thought it was a troll at first, but then regardless, the thread ended up spiraling into a big debate and conversation. But the OP was basically saying that, I guess his first Resident Evil experience was Resident Evil 4. And so he went back and played the original trilogy, Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3. And he said that he didn't understand why so many people were saying that Resident Evil 4 was the beginning of a big shift into a different feel and tone of the game, particularly as far as like how much action was in the game, right? And so essentially he was saying that he found the original trilogy to be just as action focused as Resident Evil 4. And I remember when I first read it, that's why I thought it was a troll, because I was like, wait, how can anyone even think that? But I do think that there are certain points to be had there, right? And what I mean is, when you look at Resident Evil in terms of like survival horror, the awesome thing about Resident Evil is that it really created the blueprint or the formula that would go on to shape how many survival horror games were created for like years to come. But when you look at some of its peers that didn't necessarily follow that formula, games like Silent Hill, Clock Tower, maybe even the lesser known Overblood, Amnesia, which came out much later, but point is, when you look at the survival horror subgenre, Resident Evil, even before Resident Evil 4, has always leaned more towards action than a lot of survival horror games. Like, because you got some like action oriented survival horror games like The Suffering, for instance, The Thing. You also have games like Amnesia, Outlast, and stuff where there's not a lot of action, and the player doesn't have a lot of options as far as like fighting back and things of that nature. And then when you look at Resident Evil, you have like special ops with guns and bazookas and machine guns. So from that perspective, I can see, when you compare Resident Evil to other survival horror games, like when you compare it to its peers, how amongst other survival horror games, it does seem like Resident Evil is more action focused, right? But the thing is, even with that being the case, I believe that Resident Evil 4 took it to a whole different level as far as like upping or raising the amount of action that was in the game, and not just raising the amount of action, but lowering the bar as far as how much emphasis was placed on things like exploration and puzzle solving. Not to say like Resident Evil had these super complex puzzles, but I think a big challenge of Resident Evil was navigating the particular area and figuring out where things would go and getting lost and things like that. And that really wasn't much of an issue in Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 was pretty much like it was just like a straight shot throughout most of the game, where you didn't have to do much thinking in terms of how to figure out how to get to the next area. In terms of like, okay, what do I do with this, or where do I go next? The challenge was always more so about how do you get past the next wave of enemies. And I think that's a big part of what contributed to what made Resident Evil 4 feel so different from the original trilogy. So, wow. And also I think another point that he brought up was like the story and certain events in the story, things like 'cause there are quite a few scenes in Resident Evil that would be straight out of an action Hollywood movie. You know, like in Resident Evil 1, the big escape from the mansion in a helicopter, and you blow up Tyrant with the bazooka, and then the mansion blows up as you fly away on the helicopter. That's like the end of Predator or something like that, right? As opposed to, again, a good example of a game like Silent Hill, where generally speaking, you don't see stuff like that. You know, you look at Resident Evil 2 and it starts off and the city is consumed by chaos and people are running around and there's zombies everywhere. There's a big crash with the truck and things are blowing up. Like, there's a lot of action in terms of like the like key scenes throughout the game and the story and whatnot that you wouldn't necessarily see in a game like Clock Tower, for instance, right? And so again, these are valid points, but that's not really what the comparison is. You know, we're not talking about comparing the Resident Evil trilogy to survival horror games with less of an emphasis on action. We're talking about Resident Evil compared to Resident Evil 4. And so even though I generally disagree with what the guy was saying, it got me kind of interested in, like, you know, what really is it about Resident Evil 4 that made it feel so different from Resident Evil 1 or the original trilogy, despite the fact that you can attribute like or point out so many like parts or elements of the original trilogy that could be considered like action focused, right? And I think a lot of it had to do with just one, the amount of combat you engage in Resident Evil 4, where I mean, look, this is the obvious one, right? But you know, something like the water room, which is just non-stop shooting and killing and throwing grenades, right? And you have literal like waves of enemies coming at you. And then you gotta snipe the enemies as Ashley is turning the crank to raise the platform. Right. And I mean, you don't even have to go that far, you know, like, you know, and it's kind of interesting. I just beat Resident Evil 1 in real survival mode recently. And, you know, at the end of the game, they tell you how many enemies you defeated. And I think I defeated around like 60 or 70 or something like that, right? And, you know, I'm not the type of player that's like avoiding enemies. Like, I kill as much as I can, as much as I want to. And I ended up getting about 60 or 70 bodies or so. And again, that's just another example, dude. Like, I beat that whole game and only killed like 60 or 70 enemies. In Resident Evil 4, you probably kill 60 or 70 enemies by the end of the first chapter. Like that's one chapter for Leon, you know. And and again, like, I think the other thing too is like the way combat is, you know. I think even though Resident Evil, the classic games have like, I consider the combat to be satisfying. It's obviously pretty stiff and janky and dated, but it's still satisfying to get like those decapitations with the shotgun, just getting enemies out of the way, being able to get like to kill the dogs without getting bit. Excuse me. And then, you know, like there's a certain satisfaction to it. But the combat in Resident Evil 4 is, again, something that's just taken to a different level, especially when you consider things like the melee attacks. I mean, you stun one enemy and then kick that one enemy into 5 other other enemies, and then you can throw a grenade at them, and then boom, and throw a flash grenade and kick it. Like, it's the action is just on a whole different level. And I think also just the fact that you just have so many sequences where Leon has to deal with waves of enemies or a room full of enemies, where the objective is kill all the enemies, get to the next room. And Resident Evil 1 just isn't like that. You know, you can actually feasibly avoid many of the enemies if you know how to. And I think that in of itself shows how these games are so different by design. You know, you can find playthroughs of people avoiding like 90 or like 80 to 90% of the enemies in the classic games, right? Knife only runs and shit like that. And with Resident Evil 4, you can't really do that because a lot of the areas in the game, your progress is dependent on you clearing that particular room. But you know, I didn't come here just to rant the whole time. I thought it would be interesting to do like a little experiment, right? So what I've cooked up is I'm going to actually play Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 4. Well, not play, but I'm going to take the first hour from both of my playthroughs, and I'm doing, so it's gonna be Resident Evil 1 remake, Chris, and Resident Evil 4, and I'm gonna have them side by side, and I'm going to record myself doing commentary, watching both of them side by side. And I think just watching the first hour of the game is gonna be enough to kind of really see like the difference in terms of how much action you're dealing with one versus the other. Now I'm going to start both games, as far as like the actual video, I'm going to start them both like right at the point where you get control of the character, and then we're just going to go from there. So stay tuned. Okay, so I'm back. I was trying to figure out like the best place to start both games, right? Because obviously they don't start at the exact same time based on like the movie. So I decided to go right for when you encounter the first enemy, and then just go from there. And I was gonna do the Resident Evil 1 remake, but I looked back at my Chris playthrough footage and it looks like butthole. So I was like, let's just do the very first game, right? So here we go. All right, so we have a bit of a head start here for Chris there on the left, and we got Leon. Hold up. I'm gonna also, give me 1 second. I'm gonna keep track of something. Now that I think about it, this is gonna be fun. Okay. Now, I'm going to do my best to keep track of how many enemies are killed in both, right? That's going to be one of the things I'm going to pay attention to. So, let me put the enemy kill counter here. RE1, RE4. So, we got 1 for 4 right now. So, you can see it right now. You can see the difference right now. Where Leon is in this house, the same way Chris is in the mansion, but Leon is already under attack. Not by a big mob, but there's this sense of, okay, like there's a sense of urgency. Like he has to do something now. But as far as like weaponry, they're about on the same level. You just found some gold there. But there's definitely much more of a sense of urgency in the beginning of Resident Evil 4. In 1, like you look at 1, there's more of a sense of like mystery and wonder. Like, okay, well, where do I begin? I can go in, like, and this is important. Where do I begin? I can go anywhere. So you have your first enemy encounter right there with, I think he got a headshot there. So we got 1 and 1. And it might be hard for me to keep track of the kills because I got to pay attention to two screens at once. But look at Leon over there. I'm definitely taking my sweet ass time. Look at me. Boop. Ba-da-doo, ba-da-doo. But, you know, I will say, to be fair, you know, if you look at the trilogy as a whole, they start differently. Like Resident Evil 2, you start off surrounded by zombies and flying out the window. But yeah, in Resident Evil 2, you start off surrounded by zombies. Resident Evil 2 actually starts off kind of similar to this, I would say, as far as like the amount of enemies you have to deal with. Maybe even more so, like you're really in the thick of it. But what is it? That's like 3 bodies for Leon, right? Okay, now with so you see me over there with Chris just looking around, trying to see what I'm gonna do. And I'm really taking my time here. We look at how I'm playing the games, even though I'm familiar with these games. What's up with that camera angle? Is that a director's cut camera angle in Resident Evil 1? Oh man. And here's another difference. The save system in Resident Evil 4, obviously in Resident Evil 4, You can save as much as you want to. I say that kind of contributes like a bit of a minor difference as far as like why the games felt different. Because I think that for new players, understanding and knowing that your saves were limited, I think that had an effect on the psychology of the player and what your expectations were. Because you might think, oh man, what if I don't have enough saves? Oh, got another body there for Chris. So Leon's saving the dog over here. So, Resident Evil 4 in the beginning does start off kind of slow compared to where it goes. And so I'm not really surprised by that. And if I had to imagine, I think this is kind of a situation where in development, they were probably like headed in one direction. Like, okay, we got to survive a horror game. But I think and this just my assumption. I think it was probably a situation where the more they added on to it and realized what they had, they're probably like, yo, hold up. Like, we can really go places with what we have here as far as like these game mechanics. That's what I would imagine happened. All right, so you blowing up bombs over here in Resident Evil 4. Nothing too major though. Just and like we got another villager attacking us right here. She's gonna shank him to death. All right, that's 4 bodies for Leon. And I think tracking the enemy kills is important because let's face it, there is like nothing says action like fighting. Whether it's hand to hand, knives, guns, whatever the case may be. I think the amount of time you spend actually killing and fighting enemies does have a lot to do with the tone and how the game feels. Because one thing I think is consistent with survival horror games with less of an emphasis on action is that, quite frankly, there's less combat. Okay, so look, we got another body over here. So they're actually pretty close right now. Chris got 3 bodies, and Leon this is his 5th, right? So we got 3 for Chris, 5 for Leon. Look at him. Oh shit, hold up. I got bit there. That was very cheap. Oh, and if you look, I aim checked and it didn't work. Like, they cheated me right there. They definitely cheated me right there. Okay. Oh, we got a headshot. There we go. So we're 4 for 5 right now. I mean, it's basically been even. Like, you look at it, is I would say the significant difference has been just like the exploration aspect of it. Like, by this point in Resident Evil 4, you're not really thinking, oh, where do I go? It's more so, let me just keep moving forward. Whereas, in the mansion, Resident Evil 1, there is more of a sense of options. Look at those guys just chilling up there. But it's very close. We got 5 for Chris, 6 for Leon. So Leon but obviously, we all know where this is going. Obviously, we all know. But it's still interesting to see, right? Like, how quickly does Resident Evil 4 begin to separate itself in terms of like from the original game? I mean, I guess I could do hour 2, hour 3, hour 4, but like, come on, like we're not crazy. We already know how that goes. But I think at least to see like the first hour it will be telling. Okay. Look, oh man. Okay, here we go. So that might okay. Hold up. I'm ready to count it. Okay, so we got 6 for Chris. Chris is about to pass Leon right now too. You better get it while you can, Chris. You better get it while he got a headshot. So we got 7 for Chris, 6 for Leon. Go Chris. Like, Chris is on a mission right now. Chris is on a mission. But this part right here in 4 is pretty much where Where things are about to change. Okay, so Chris is gonna get 2 more right here. This is great. Oh, I'm paying attention to Chris. Look at the combat in 1. Just look at it. You don't even see the damn enemies. So Chris bumped up to 9. It might be kind of hard to keep track of the kills at this part though, because shit gets really crazy. Okay, when did I get bit with? Oh yeah, I remember now. Okay, Chris is fine. I'm so concerned. All right, so I think this is another important part right here. That even though Chris is ahead in terms of raw kills, this just the feeling of this part as the player when you're in this house and you're under siege. So, and look at the weaponry so far now. Now, Leon already got grenade and shotgun. So the arsenal is already going up quite a bit for Leon. Oh shit. Ooh, that was so smart. I jumped in right as he threw it for the iframes. And that was dumb. I tried to run past him. I was about to give myself some credit there and I had to go do something stupid. But yeah, I think even though right now Chris is ahead, I think that... What the hell am I doing? Oh, I was trying to find how to get to the inventory. But yeah, oh, kind of cool. Like we're both basically in item box mode right now. Oh, he's just now getting a broken shotgun. But yeah, just the feel of this part, you know, being like this isn't the siege, but this is like the village mob part. Okay, so what do we got? I'm trying to keep track. He fell off. I'm not sure. Yeah, of course. I'm going to bring out the shotgun. Of course. Why wouldn't I? Doom. All right, that's 1. Oh, boy. I think that's another one. So if I lose track, bear with me. It's you got a lot going on here. You got a lot going on here. Oh, boy. Boom. So how many died there? I think there was at least like 2, right? There was at least 2 more. And I think Chris is about to get another one. Don't want to pay too much attention to Leon, but he's in a hot spot right now. But look at that zombie over there on Chris's side. But even still, again, like Leon is only up by 1. But I think the way, just the nature of the gameplay makes it, ooh, he hit 10. But the nature of the gameplay is so different. Even as Chris has been able to keep up with Leon in terms of kills, it's in a completely different way. You know, it's almost like you're, like, you ever seen Dawn of the Dead, the first one? And when they first get to the mall, and they're like clearing out the mall. It's almost like this slow, methodical clearing out of this larger area. Oh, that's another one. Yeah, it's like this slow, methodical clearing out of a larger area. And so it's like, even though you're killing, it doesn't have the same feel as like this right now, with just waves of enemies coming straight at you. Oh, I got so lucky there. I got so lucky. Am I out of ammo? Whoa. Completely ran out of ammo there. But definitely gonna get a... Oh boy. I had just run out of ammo. I'm not sure if that killed anyone though. So I'm not gonna... I didn't see a death. I saw them just fly. But right now, Leon is up 2. But surprisingly, when you're attacked by the mob in the village, it's really not... You don't get as many kills as you would think. Like, you really just got to get a handful, and that's it. You know, it's not as crazy. It's more so just how it feels. The pressure that the villagers put on you as you're trying to survive. I think that's what makes it that's what makes it difficult, or that's what gives it like that feeling of tension for the player. It begins with a ring. With a ring? Okay. Trophy. But yeah, I think like when you look at the way you kill in these games, it's different. You know, with Resident Evil 4, it's much more like engaging. And then on top of that, like there's music playing whenever you're fighting enemies. Or like I think like 9 times out of 10, you know that when you hear music, there are enemies around. And Resident Evil 1 doesn't always play by that rule. Most of the time, there's either just ambient music or there's no music at all. And so like I said, like killing enemies in Resident Evil 1 has a different feel to it. Because it's like this, you're just slowly going around taking out enemies. Really, it feels more like you're trying to clear space so that you can like solve the mansion. You know, it's almost like the mansion is more so the game and the enemies are an obstacle. And with Resident Evil 4, it's like the enemies are the game. It's like the enemies are the game, and navigating the environment is just a means to an end to deal with those enemies, or to, you know, engage with and get to those enemies. Oh, look at me! I'm trying to back up. I'm trying to back up into the key. Oh, so they don't let you do it like that. Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay. He's gonna get back up, right? Stay back. Stay back. That's the forest zombie. Ain't no way he that weak. I knew it. Also, they got iframes getting up, so the blood should come out now. Okay. So that's so they're still close. They're really close. They're really close. Right now, Chris has 11 and Leon has 12. So you see me over there in Resident Evil 4 land, kind of taking a bit of a pit stop. I'm just exploring the area, trying to find items, you know, just gathering resources for the upcoming battles. Oh shit. So that's 12 and 13. Chris is in the lead again. You know, actually by now I thought Leon would have been like clearly ahead. Not so much, but let's see. Okay. Oh, headshot. Oh, hold up. Another headshot. 15. Leon's got some catching up to do. You know, but Leon's kind of falling behind because you know, I'm spending so much time trying to find the resources in the village area, which is really one of the more larger areas that you can explore. Looks like I'm taking some time out to change outfits here. Good on you, Chris. Oh, they're both gonna have the brown jacket on. That's cool. Oh my God. It took me so long. It took me so long to get out of that damn village. I swear. I'm sitting here like, damn. But I had to. I had to take my time and get everything. That's probably one of the more like important gathering spots, because it's so much that you can pick up there. Oh, they go to the kick. Okay, Leon finally getting back into his bag. You know, I feel like Chris is gonna get like or rather he already got like a early lead, partially because, oh, we got another zombie right here. There we go. Get him, Chris. Didn't Leon just get another one? Wouldn't that be 14? So it's 16-14, right? And that dog is not a combatant. All right. That was just one for Chris, though, right? Well, that was just one, right? But I think Chris is gonna get an early lead because when you look at the Resident Evil 1 mansion, it's kind of like what I was saying about the Dawn of the Dead mall or the first Dawn of the Dead mall, where it's like you want to clear it first so you can kind of relax. And not saying you really relax in the Resident Evil mansion, but I think that because of the nature of it, where you tend to backtrack and go to different places again, like once you clear a specific area of the enemies, more than likely you're not gonna have to deal with more enemies in the area until you come back later. Oh shit, headshot. That's another one for Leon. Leon is almost caught up now. Did he get the guy in the barn? Oh, he shot him down. Okay. All right. So now it's even. So you notice that with Chris, is kind of the killing is slowed down because he's cleared quite a bit of the mansion so far. Boom. Nice kick. And Leon retakes the lead. So one thing that's standing out now is that in Resident Evil 4, especially early on, the amount of time that you can spend just looking for shit. And it's not looking for things in the same manner of what you do in Resident Evil 1. Like it's really like it's resource gathering. Whereas in Resident Evil 1, you're actually trying to make progress. Like what you see me doing is, of course I'm gathering resources, and with Chris, because of his limited inventory, you got to do more backtracking to put those resources up. But what I've noticed is that what slowed down Leon quite a bit is just the necessity of seeking out resources, finding the treasures, finding the ammunition. And right now I'm doing the whole blue medallion thing, and that slowed me down quite a bit too. Well, Leon finally left the farm. It took long enough. So what's this? I think this is I was about to say I know damn well I'm not about to come back to that farm. So this is the rock dodging part. We don't do any rock dodging in Resident Evil 1 until a little bit later. And, I think this is another thing that made the game feel a bit different. The quick time events. Woo! There we go. Good job. Yeah, I don't think the quick time events were introduced until 4. Probably the closest thing we had to that was the event moments in Resident Evil 3. But that was more like making a choice to go different paths, as opposed to needing to react to something that was going to kill you. I was about to say, I knew I did. I knew I wasn't going to forget that shit. I was like, Marco, no, not you. You're better than that. A carving of a sword. Okay, so I still haven't found the sword key yet. God damn. What have I been doing with my life? Oh, I thought I would hit the dynamite. Shit. Come on, get it. Get it. Yes. Oh, man, that's perfect. Oh, can he get this one? Come on. Come on, Marco. Get the shot. Get the shot. Oh, got it. Awesome. Oh, man. That was pretty cool. Oh, shit. Somebody threw a grenade. I said a grenade. It's dynamite. Oh, he's fucked. that's that's 20 for Leon, 16 for Chris right now. So Leon is he's starting to get busy. I gotta say though, definitely the what bro, it's about the first hour. The first hour of Resident Evil 4 hasn't been much more fast paced than the first hour of Resident Evil 1. And Chris is about to catch up here. He just got another body. Did I miss one with Leon? I'm just going to assume I didn't. I'm a bad referee. What is he aiming at? Okay, Chris is already catching up again. He got 13 to Leon's 15. There were 3 zombies in here. I think this is the advanced mode. They do things a bit different. You saw me avoid that one though. So Leon went up to 16. Oh, I walked right back out the room. Classic Chad Marco strategy. Okay, probably won't have to kill him. Yeah, I think this is the advanced mode because the items are in different places. You just notice normally there's a blue gem there. Now I think there's one of those like, was it the wind stone or the star stone or something like that? So it's changed around a little bit. Got another one. Yeah, I think Chris is about to catch up again. Because I'm pretty sure they're probably like, what, 3 or 4, like something like 3 zombies in here or something. Aim check. Oh, nice shooting at the wall, Chad. That's very smart. Maybe I'm waiting for a zombie to show up. Okay, I think Chris is about to get another one off screen here. Oh, not so off screen anymore. That's what. And Chris caught right back up. Like this should be. Yeah, it's about 16-16 right now. This is very even. It's very even. Even I'm surprised right now how even it is. So Leon is just now finding Lewis. Oh, the dogs. The big cheese. Oh, that's so cool. Chris finds Rebecca right after right after Leon finds Lewis. Oh man, it's like dude, they have the same amount of kills. And they just found one of the NPC characters. Crazy. That is amazing. Enemies killed 34. How did he kill 34? I got 21 down. How did he have 34? I counted 21. Where they getting 34 from? I know I'm not tripping. Now I figured that I might have missed a couple during the what was it? The part on the village. I thought maybe I missed like 2 or 3. I was like, whatever, man. It's no way he got 34. Like, what could it have been? Maybe, was it the snakes? Was it the crows? That doesn't make any sense. I've been sitting here watching both of them. I'm going to keep my tally. I'm going to keep my score because that just doesn't make sense. I don't see how he could have got 34. I was really paying attention. I was trying my best to pay attention. I don't see how he could have got 34. I mean, look, that would fit my narrative, but look, fair is fair. I got him down even, 21-21. But just amazing how it syncs up, how it's synced up right now. Oh, 2 dogs, 3 dogs. Oh my God. Got a clip and got the Magnum. Pick it up. Coat Python. So I avoided the dogs, of course. Am I really going to use a Magnum shot? Ooh. Way to live it up. 3, 4. And there's another one. Chris is ahead again, 23-21. Yep. 24-21. I think this is kind of an interesting part too. You look at what Chris is doing. Chris is solving a puzzle. And Leon this is his first encounter with the merchant. And I think this is one of the significant aspects of Resident Evil 4, which is not only managing your inventory, your attaché case, but buying and selling and upgrading weapons as well. I think this is another example of like the difference of like the different emphasis that was placed on in each game, as far as like you see with Chris, he's over there solving a quote unquote puzzle. And with Leon, he's just kicking back, upgrading weapons, getting ready to kick more ass. But as far as like kill count, from my estimate, Chris is actually up. We might have to look at another episode to see if we're just now getting to the point where Leon is going to widen that gap a bit. But because this is about what, the first hour, Chris is surprisingly, and I wouldn't have guessed this had I just going off pure number. I would have never guessed that Chris gets more kills, or I got more kills in my Resident Evil 1 playthrough in the first hour than I did in my Resident Evil 4 playthrough. I would have never guessed. But I predict a seismic shift coming up very soon. So we might have to look at another hour if we want to get if we want to see exactly where this goes. But to give credit where credit is due, the first hour of Resident Evil 4 really, other than like, you know, the nature of the combat of this game, you know, with the mobs of enemies coming at you at once in the village, the grenades, the being able to kick your opponents, the melee attacks, QTEs, things like that. Yeah, that's definitely leaning Resident Evil 4 towards more action. But in terms of just pure kill count, like how often you're involved in battles, Resident Evil 4 has not been that much more battle focused, combat focused than Resident Evil 1, surprisingly. But the Resident Evil 1 episode ends there, and I think the Resident Evil 4 is about to end too. I'm just finishing up my attaché case. All right, so we're gonna look at one more hour, but this is a win for Resident Evil 4 in terms of like crazy, right? But I'm putting the little star next to the Resident Evil 4 tally. That's an ugly ass star. But let's look at the next hour. Okay. Okay, so we are back. Full disclosure, and you see on the Resident Evil 1 side, I'm starting at 16 minutes. That's because I actually died. I actually died like in a really dumb way and had to start over from the beginning of that particular episode. That's why oh, hold up, give me 1 second. But yeah, you notice that on the Resident Evil 1 side, I'm starting off around like at 16 minutes because I actually died and had to do that whole first 15 minutes over again. So that's where I'm starting these episodes at. Or rather the Resident Evil 1 side, because I died like a dumbass. Right, but this is exactly where I'll be starting off from the last episode had I not died. But I'm very interested to see this particular section of both games because, as we know, this is the after Leon getting his first or having his first encounter with the merchant, getting access to more weapons and weapon upgrades. So let's see if Leon is able to close the distance a bit here and put some space between him and Chris with the kill count. Now I know this particular area is can get pretty hectic, but let's see how hectic. I overestimated how bad the village would be. Look at me trying to line up that shot. Ooh, okay. So Leon is in his bag, but I think Chris is gonna get some kills in soon too, though. Oh, dead Richard. Okay, so we got 23 for Leon. One more, he catches up. Oh, Python. 25 for Chris. Oh, no. Oh, there we go. 26. Smart idea. Wait for him to open the door for you. Ooh, very close. Good idea. Boom, shakalaka. That might be a kill. I think that's a kill. Ooh. Okay, now that's definitely a kill. Yeah, I was like, so he did get the other kill. Here's another one. All right. So they're neck and neck again with 26 and 26. I don't know if that counts as a kill. Did he fall all the way off? Oh, no, he didn't. Okay. Am I going to shoot the dynamite? Nah, I didn't get a chance. Dog, I see dogs over there. I think that was a kill, though. Yeah. Chris didn't bother with the dogs yet. Okay. So Leon is at about 29. Ooh. All right, Chris got another one. Man, it's hard looking. It's hard looking at both of them. Let's see, okay. Whoa. Dynamite. That was, how many was that? That was like at least 3, right? That was like 3 right there. I'm gonna put 3 on the board for Leon. Cause that incendiary grenade did a lot of work. Okay, that's another one. Oh my God. Okay. That's another one, even though it was kind of a fuck up on my end. A kill is a kill. I'm not gonna. Oh, that he flew off the he flew off the whole platform there. Chris is about to get 2 more. Oh man, it's getting crazy. And Chris wants to stay in the game. Chris, I commend you. You ain't going out like a punk. Okay, that's another one for Chris. Ooh, got hit in the damn head. Oh shit. That guy still got Chris too. Relentless. I can see how I might miss like 1 or 2. Oh. That was close as fuck. Why didn't you use the heal? Use the heal, bitch. Why did I decide to... What do you got to think about? Heal, heal, man. The fucking... Oh, okay. I want to reload. But still, it should have healed first, man. It could have threw one of those damn hatchets at the back of your head. Okay. That was 2, I think. Oh, that's the other one. Okay. Oh, boy. Yeah, nice. Good job, Leo. I see Chris over there getting it in. I remember 2 for Chris. I'm watching Leon right now. See, 1, 2. Boom. Okay. They should be gone. Nope. He's still alive. So that's another 2. So we got 3 right here. Yep. So that's 1, 2, bam. Okay. Oh, another 3 just popped up. Ooh, how many was... That's 3, right? Shit. 1, 2, 3. It's happening now. It's happening now. I think this is the beginning of the separation, I think. Chris is trying... He's in there, though. Chris is in there, but this is where it starts. This is the beginning of the significant separation, I believe. And that's another one. It's like every time I look up, there's another enemy there. Like I jot the last one down, I look up, and then there's another one. Okay, that's 2 more. I see one up there. Yeah, look at that guy. Oh shit. Okay. Oh, nice nicemanship, I meant. Okay, that's another one. Oh, damn, blew him the fuck away. Okay, that's another one. I'm looking at Chris. That's 1. This is where I died at, too. I think I'm trying to see if I can skip 1. Okay, that's 2. Ooh, nice, Leon. Nice. Okay, I think with Chris, I avoid that last one. I know I did not kill that guy with 1 shot. I killed him with 1 shot? I blew him off like that? Okay. Oh no, okay, now he's dead. I got you. Get the fuck out of there, yo. What the hell you doing? Boom. Yeah. Nice. Chris back with a vengeance. Shoot him in the ass. I think I'm trying to avoid the dogs with Chris. I did. Shit. So I didn't kill any of them. Great. See, that's another for Leon. That's 3, right? Because there were the 2, and then I saw another one. Yeah, that's the other one. Oh, his head came clean off. This might be another good example of the difference between the two games. I mean, right now, I'm literally in a cover shooter situation. But this is like 4. This is like 4 right here, even though they've been exploding themselves. Oh, nice. Okay. I think I'll just count 3 there though, because they blew up 1 or 2 of the other guys. I saw it too, Leon. Somebody kicked that door open. They just sitting there too. Ooh, easy. I lost count, so I'm tallying them up, but I lost count. I'll just count it up at the end. But it's the Leon side has definitely gone, kind of going out of range of Chris. Chris would have to do a lot of murking to catch up. I'm not gonna count the fish. I'm not gonna count the fish, by the way. The game might count the fish, but I won't. I still don't know how they got that 30. What is it, 34? Sounds crazy. Oh, the itchy tasty room. The infamous. Boom. Oh, I didn't read it. So it said over there that the total enemies killed for Leon is 86. I don't think I believe that. I don't think I believe that. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna do a quick count real quick. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 63. So I got 63 kills for Leon in Resident Evil 4. And then we got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 37. So you have almost double the amount of kills in Resident Evil 4 by this point. And this is about the hour, all right, this is about an hour and 40 minutes into Resident Evil 4. And about an hour and 40 minutes into Resident Evil 1. And we already see a significant gap. So I was a little off. You know, I thought within the first hour, I would say like first 45 to an hour, you would see that gap. But it hasn't really showed up until recently. In particular with that one area where you use the sniper rifle to take out the Ganados while getting these slabs to get through the door. But yeah, I mean, it's been an hour and 30 minutes and we already have almost double the amount of kills in Resident Evil 4. So my point is beginning to be proven here, just at a a bit slower rate than I thought initially. But one thing that I've always known about Resident Evil 4 is that initially it does very much feel like a survival horror game, definitely more action oriented, but still survival horror. But the more you go into the game, the deeper you get into the game, the more it feels like an action game as opposed to a survival horror game. That's another kill for your boy too. Is the bathroom Ganado like the itchy tasty of like that closet zombie? Is he like the Resident Evil 4 equivalent of the closet zombie, the bathroom zombie? I guess not, because he doesn't have the note accompanying him. Accompanying. But yeah, it's kind of interesting because now we're actually starting to see the gap and the difference in the amount of combat and killing in Resident Evil 1 versus Resident Evil 4. So like it's definitely starting to show up here. But really we haven't even gotten started. We haven't even got. But I don't think I really need to go that far. Like when you get to the castle, that's when it really gets crazy. But we already know that. I really wanted to compare like the early portions of the game to see like where does it really start to diverge. But I would still say that Resident Evil 4 at this point isn't even really like particularly like super action packed. There's still like quite a bit of downtime between killing enemies. I just think that one thing you could definitely point out is just how much more time you spend moving forward and going to different places as opposed to Resident Evil 1. And that's 2 kills for Leon there. And it looks like this is gonna be another one. Oh shit. No fear, huh? Let him have it. Ooh, I think I got him. Okay. So that's another one for Leon. Chris is not trying to fight those dogs. Okay, we got another one. Headshot for Leon. Uh-oh. Got it. Leon slowly but surely widening the gap. It's kind of like what I said earlier, though. The thing about the mansion and in Resident Evil is that I think a lot of Chris getting like a higher... Oh, man, I fuck with that dog. But I think a lot of what has to do with Chris getting a high body count comparable to Leon early on is that, the early part of the mansion is kind of like you're clearing the mansion out so that you can freely explore it. Because the fact is, you backtrack to a lot of the same areas. So it's like, even though you're killing enemies as you go along, you're going to go back through those areas and you're not going to have to deal with enemies because you've already taken them out. As opposed to Leon, who's always moving forward for the most part. Of course, there's a bit of backtracking in 4, but not nearly as much. So what was that? That was about 4. I think it was like 4 right there, right? So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4 for Leon. But I think that had a lot to do with Chris being able to keep up. The fact that the mansion initially is, I don't say packed, but there are quite a few zombies in the mansion when you first get there. And so you're kind of taking them out. There's another one for Leon. You're kind of taking them out bit by bit. But once you take out most of them, that's it. Till you leave the mansion, you know, that's it. Because they're not going to be respawning. Of course, enemies respawn later and they get replaced with hunters. You know, but for the first part of the mansion, you know, once you clear it out, that's pretty much it. And then there are a few that you can even avoid. So look at that bitch ducking down. All right, that's another one for Leon. Oh crap! Oh, that was bad. Okay, I think that's another kill. I think that's 1 and 2 right there. Just hard to keep track. Oh man, I was in a bad situation here. I could have really died here. Okay, that's another one. Go, go, go. Damn. Y'all forgot about this. I fucked up here. That ammo disappeared right when I got to it. Oh, shit. This guy. Another one. I mean, you're seeing it right now. I mean, it's like this is it's happening basically. Like you're seeing that gap widening. That gap is getting wider and wider. And look at Chris. He over there flirting with Rebecca. Oh, got a headshot. That's another one. Okay. How many we got here? That's another headshot. Another headshot. Yo. Yo. Oh, shit. It sped up real quick. Real quick. I think that's another one, too. Move forward, Chad. Come on, move forward. Look down. Yeah, that's another one. Yeah. Yeah, man. Once the mansion is clear, it's not a lot of killing going on. It's just like Dawn of the Dead 1. It's just like Dawn of the Dead 1. Like, once they cleared the mall, they were chilling. They were running around, trying out different clothes, going to different stores. Like, that's what Chris is doing now. That's what Chris is doing now. So because I had to start the Resident Evil 1 video at the 15-minute mark, once it hits an hour, I'm going to load up the 3rd episode and just play it up to 15 minutes just so it balances out across both games in terms of like the amount of time played, starting from, you know, the first enemy encounter. So, because you see it's about to go up to an hour, and the reason why it's 15 minutes ahead is because I started 15 minutes in because I died, right? So I'm gonna just go ahead and play the first 15 minutes of the 3rd episode, and we'll end it after that. And then we'll just tally up the score and see where we land at. Okay, so we got everything back lined up. So again, we're playing the first 15 minutes of the, oh, is that right? We're playing the first 15 minutes of the 3rd episode of the Resident Evil 1 playthrough to line up with the amount of time that's left in the Resident Evil 4 episode 2 playthrough, so we can get a clean amount of time for each one. So we're gonna stop this test at about in about 15 minutes or so. Oh, what is that? Oh. Looks like Leon finally made it into the cemetery. Oh, there go Big Mama. I love my use of the knife in this game. Always trying to save precious resources. Oh, got a few more here. No, 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 no. Good, good. So that's one. Ouch. Good. That's 2, 3. Damn, get enough distance. Ooh, right in the air. Dope. That's not the kill, too. Get his girlfriend, too. Boom. Nice kick. And dead. Oh, that's another one. Two. Three. What up? Whatever. Uh-huh. Do snakes count for a kill? Oh, yeah, kind of interesting. I kill a snake and a snake shows up in Resident Evil 1. It's the yawn fight, by the way. Yeah, I think this will be a perfect place to stop it, because this is when Chris is getting to the first boss here. And I don't think I was really satisfied with this fight either. I think I survived, but I wanted to... Oh, God, I was getting fucked up, too. Does that even work? I'm pretty sure I'm just wasting ammo over there. Okay, we'll call it here. So let's tally it up, right? So for Resident Evil 1, we got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 37. And for Resident Evil 4, we got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 93 kills. So as you can see, there is a significant difference in the amount of combat and overall fighting in Resident Evil 4 compared to Resident Evil 1. Not even that I'm surprised, but I just wanted to put an exact number to it, and especially in comparison to the early part of the games, because obviously the early part of Resident Evil 4 is, well, definitely the least action packed. It's the part of the game that feels the most like a traditional survival horror game. So I thought that would be the best part to compare to, you know, classic Resident Evil. But, you know, I think looking at this comparison, my point stands in that Resident Evil 4 is definitely significantly more action focused. But one thing I will say is that I did not expect Resident Evil 1 to stay in the game as far as kill count for as long as it did. It really wasn't until Leon got the sniper rifle and got to that one part right after you first encountered the merchant, that's when the gap really started to sort of widen, and then we started to see the difference between the amount of combat in Resident Evil 4 compared to Resident Evil 1. But again, anybody that knows these games already would have guessed and figured that this would be the outcome. But, you know, that was fun. It was a great little experiment to see exactly, you know, being able to see the classic Resident Evil compared to, well, what would have been considered new Resident Evil. You know, now there's a new Resident Evil. But it is cool seeing those two compared. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will see you on the next video. Chad Marco out.